Well, good day, everybody. I guess you can guess by the title, we're starting this video off by doing some rework. Couple things we need to fix up. One is pulling that power steering back out, and also gotta pull that 5/16 line off because I assembled it wrong. I didn't agree with the way it was working out, so I did some Googling last night, and by watching and reading up on what other people did, apparently the black sheath, I'm supposed to cut away a 1/2 inch, but leave the wire braid there. Because I was wondering, I'm like, this ferrule's supposed to be like a compression fitting. It just doesn't make sense. You don't have that kind of crap when you're working with like brass or like stainless. You just tighten it, and depending on the type of fitting you're using, there's usually like a sequence, like you go hand tight and then like 1 turn or 1 1/4, and that compresses that ferrule. But unfortunately, these ones are not the way I'm accustomed to, so I'm gonna have to pull it off and we're gonna have to redo it. But let's start by pulling off this power steering pump. And one thing I can use is these fittings, are these right here, going to pinch the hose while I pull the fitting off. And then I got the container that I drained oil out of. We'll drain as much as we can into there. These things are awesome because you just put them on and then tighten them up and it squishes the hose. I mean, you can't use it on like hydraulic hose, but on soft rubber hose you can. So I usually go one this way and then another one the opposite way, and that ensures for sure that I'm not going to have any leaks. Let's pull this belt off, and I'm going to remove the alternator. Haven't been using quite a while. Just barely fits in the engine compartment. That's a tight fit. Got the bolt out underneath, the side bolt on the side of the power steering pump. If I pull these 2 bolts out, the one in the middle is already just loose. I already have a pretty good idea. What the problem is that I believe I got a pinhole in the metal. The tin is so thin, it doesn't take much to weld and burn a hole through it. Let's get her off to here and onto the table. Have a look. Definitely sweating, but I see oil impregnated right along here where I grinded it down, where I put the bolt. I think that's where I got to touch it up. Since I'm going to be doing some welding, gotta make sure the brake cleaner I'm using is non-chlorinated. That is an absolute must. Well, I welded it, assembled it, put it on the floor. Within an hour, I'll know it's still leaking. So now the installation's supposed to look something a little like that, not cut back as far as I did before. I'm gonna thread her up. You don't learn if you don't make mistakes. Tightening this end now so I don't start twisting the hose. It's a good thing I caught this now. Definitely would have sucked if I was to go to do startup and the hose just started pissing out. It would not have been a good time at all. Not a good time. I always say it's better to catch mistakes before it's too late. Would have sucked pressurizing the fuel system, probably would have started pissing out fuel. But in other good news, the welding of the power steering pump seems to be holding its 2 hours and not a drop of moisture anywhere. There we are, all assembled. Gonna start working on the cooling system, but I'm gonna wait till next time I'm out in the garage, which will be in almost a week. When the weekend comes again, gotta go to work all week, but that'll give me time to confirm that hopefully there won't be no sort of Easter egg when I come back out and the power steering pump is leaking. I let it sit for a couple hours. There was no evidence of leaking. I'm pretty confident it's fixed up now. I want to give a little extra time. Fuck, his hair's all fucked up. It's like I got like a little bun up top, eh? It's pretty stupid, but yeah. So supposed to have a parcel come in tomorrow that's gonna have my radiator hoses that are supposed to fit, coolant lines, O2 sensors for this configuration, because this harness uses the flat ones, and then work on getting the radiator installed, running the coolant lines, figure out the air intake, try to get everything buttoned up. You know, startup is going to be coming pretty quick. Anyways, I'll see you guys on the weekend. Good evening, Mr. Domgat. What are you doing? Are you trying to avoid the camera? Domgat. What are you doing? You trying to not look at the camera? Domgat. That's some crazy fog today. I haven't seen fog this thick in forever. It rained last night, so I still may try to have a fire tonight. Used motor oil works good for getting a fire going. I thought I got enough wood the last trip out, but maybe I didn't have enough wood to last until the gates open again. We'll see. Alright, just getting things figured out. I spent last hour and some trying to ponder what I'm going to do with things. I'm running out of real estate fast, and I still have a lot of things to go. So I'm going to start putting together some cooling, work on the air intake, see what else I'm going to need for parts for that. Just continue going down the rabbit hole. I'll make my mark right there. This is where you want to be for sure committed, because I just cut this. That's a little bit shorter, brings it way back, and then I'll cut this. The biggest encounter I'm having with this whole swap is what may work for somebody, not necessarily will work for you. There's quite a few things I purchased that some people have had luck with, and then I purchased it and there's no way it's gonna work. So I'm gonna run this one down, run this up. One thing that has worked out is the fact that the heater hoses here line up. So if I cut that 90 off, theoretically, hopefully it should work. Now that I cut her down, see what happens. And there you have it. The upper radiator hose turned out to be pretty good. This is one of the joys of having a 3D printer. I just 3D print containers, put stuff in like Deutsch connectors. Got a couple different ones I printed off. I'm just doing the connections now on the fan. And if you ever need to crimp a bunch of tools, or if you need to do a lot of crimping and don't want to buy a whole bunch of different tools, you get these multi-purpose ones that come with a whole bunch of different styles of dies that you just swap out easily in a kit. You can do all sorts of crimping. I find that's really easy instead of buying a whole bunch of separate tools. I learned my lesson before. Let's hope I don't repeat the same mistake by ruining a connector. Work the weatherproofing in. Got the connector made. I just need to find a way to secure it because I'm awfully pretty close to the pulleys there. Last thing I want to do is ever get mulched. This is where I go down the rabbit hole. I bought this air intake, cold air intake, a little while ago to modify for my Jeep, and I left it in the box for like the past month and some, and then I decided it's time to look at it. And this filter is absolutely ridiculous. So what I do is I just bought a cheap setup that I'm gonna cut up. So I got, that pipe came with the kit, and then from Novak I bought those 2 pieces. And then the rest of the cold air intakes right here. I already got the MAF sensor installed, but fuck me, look at this filter. It's fucking ridiculous. Look at the size of that. The downside with that is, okay, I'm gonna snake it around to go up there, but then I gotta build a shield for on top of it because I got the poison louvered hood. The last thing you want to do is when it's pouring rain is have water coming down on the filter and accumulate and have the engine suck it in and hydrolock it. So I gotta work on that, but that's ridiculous. Let's see what happens. Am I gonna hit? Yeah. Well, it looks like it'll close. I just need to move that light. Well, I say it's a pretty productive day. Worked on the cooling system, worked on the air intake. Still got lots to do. A lot of this small stuff, just piddly small stuff, just keep plugging away at it, keep plugging away at it. Domgats, you don't like me scratching on your scratch board? Are you not impressed? Do you want to kill me? Domgats, what are you doing? Domgats, are you upset with me because I was scratching on your scratch post? Domgats? Domgats? Alright, it's motherfucking beer time. What do we feel like? Let's grab this one here. Spruce Tip Pale Ale. Alright, Yukon Brewing, one of my favorite breweries. Let's try this one out. It's not too bad. Be a good campfire beer for sure. Moving along in the project. As you guys saw, we got the radiator in. We got the air intake in. Not 100% happy with it right now, but I'll work with it till we get the project going. Work out the bugs and then figure out, am I going to keep it? Should I get rid of it? Still waiting on the lower rad hose. I need to figure out what I'm going to do there. Like I said, I got a thermostat housing that's a swivel. Should cure that problem. And in the next video, we're going to be doing some fabricating. Running out of real estate. I need to figure out transmission dipstick. I need to figure out the remote oil filter. I need to figure out the fuse block and everything else. And everything's going to be assembled with nutserts and NECs because I got to keep something in mind that engineers don't do is got to keep service in mind because when I'm putting all the stuff together, obviously if I need to service something, it's got to come out. And if I'm having nuts and bolts, it becomes a headache. But nut certs can also be a headache as well, because if you don't use anti-seize, and over time if they seize, then you go to remove them and they just spin. That also becomes a headache. Because basically they're just like a rivet. You squish them and they compress, and that's how they hold. So time will tell if I'm going to shoot myself in the foot. Anyways, it's motherfucking beer time. I want to thank you guys for watching. And we're getting there. We're getting there slowly. This is the stuff you guys don't see on videos, is trying to figure all this out. This is the most time consuming part. Anyways, I'll see you guys later.